The EU implemented an emissions intensity standard in 2009 called the Fuel Quality Directive. And the Fuel Quality Directive seeks to reduce the carbon intensity of Europe's fuel mix by 6% between 2010 and 2020. Now, the challenges that the Fuel Quality Directive has faced are threefold. First of all, it's faced a challenge from the global industry and from global oil companies that argue that the burden and the cost of complying with the measure would be too significant, and that high carbon fuels or high carbon oils, especially unconventional oils such as the oil sands or oil shale, would just flow to other markets, and thus there would be leakage and the measure wouldn't achieve its goal. Secondly, the European Union has faced pressure from external government stakeholders. Most notably and most salient has been Canada, which has argued that the EU's Fuel Quality Directive unfairly discriminates against Canadian oil sands, while not paying close enough scrutiny to other potentially high carbon or environmentally deleterious fuels that are just broadly labeled as conventional oils under the EU's Fuel Quality Directive. Thirdly, and perhaps most interestingly, the Fuel Quality Directive has encountered a large degree of opposition internally from various member state governments that are responding either to domestic stakeholders, national oil companies, or which have significant unconventional oil reserves themselves. This is particularly true for the small Baltic state of Estonia, which has significant oil shale reserves, which would potentially be penalized under the European Union's scheme. In response to these challenges, the EU has recently revised significantly the way that the Fuel Quality Directive will be implemented. There will no longer be a distinction in practice made between higher carbon oils, such as the oil sands, which are prevalent in Canada, Venezuela, and other regions on the one hand, and lower carbon conventional oils on the other hand. This is a compromise approach which seeks to gain the support of internal stakeholders in industry, certain member states such as Estonia, as well as to appease and mitigate the possibility of a conflict at the World Trade Organization that has been mentioned in the past by Canada and other actors that are critical of the EU's approach. In order for the Fuel Quality Directive, though, to have environmental credibility in the long run, a few reforms will be needed. This includes better data collection practices on the EU's part. Currently, the EU does not have sufficient data across the entire value chain of petroleum, as well as petroleum products, which are derived from various different oils. In particular, the EU should learn from the US Energy Information Administration on better data collection practices in terms of the characteristics and the origin of oil and petroleum products.